Hello, this is Pastor Nathan with Bible Stories for Kids, and today we're going to look at a story in Luke chapter 22 where the bad guy tries to get Jesus, and he starts his evil plot. And this bad guy is Satan. He's our ultimate enemy. He's the one who sinned first. He's the one who first rebelled against God and disobeyed God and didn't want to listen to God, and he deceived Adam and Eve and got them to disobey God and take the fruit and disregard what God said, to not listen to God. And so Satan gets involved in the story, and he takes over Judas, and Judas betrays Jesus. And so we're going to read the first part of that here in Luke. And it's one of those, like, if you watch TV or you read books and there's a bad guy in the story, often they do something to try and beat the hero, to try and beat we call that a protagonist, the good guy. And in the Bible story, Jesus is the good guy. He's trying to save us. He's trying to save the whole world. And he's fighting against Satan. And how he fights against Satan ultimately means he has to sacrifice himself. And so we're going to get into the story, and we're going to see, here's the part where Satan is trying to win, trying to beat Jesus. But ultimately, we'll see that Jesus wins, and he raises from the dead. But here we go. Luke chapter 22, starting verse 1. The feast of unleavened bread, called the Passover, was near. The chief priests and the teachers of the law were looking for a way to get rid of Jesus. They were afraid of the people. Then Satan entered Judas, who was called Iscariot. Judas was one of the 12 disciples. He went to the chief priests and the officers of the temple guard. He talked with them about how he could hand Jesus over to them. They were delighted and agreed to give him money. Judas accepted their offer. He watched for the right time to hand Jesus over to them. He wanted to do it when no crowd was around. So Judas was one of Jesus' close friends. He lived with Jesus for 3 years. They traveled all around Israel, teaching people. He saw the miracles Jesus did. And because of his greed, because of his own ambition, and because of the works of Satan, he betrayed Jesus. He betrayed Jesus and becomes an enemy. And he did it for money. It was a horrible reason to betray Jesus. And so he's looking at this point. Judas is looking for a good time when he can tell the Jewish leaders, hey, come get Jesus now, because there aren't any crowds and he's vulnerable and more alone. And this is going to be really hard on Jesus, because Judas is one of his friends who lived with him and followed him around. And so I think it's, as we look at the story and we think of just how Jesus would have felt to have his close friend betray him, and how hard that would be. I know I've had close friends who I love very much who did mean things and hurt my feelings, and for years I was hurt from some of them, and it hurt. And Jesus is just as much a real person, has just as real of feelings as you do or I do. And so this hurt his feelings when Judas would betray him. And we'll see when Judas actually comes and leads the soldiers to take Jesus, and he betrays Jesus. And so we'll see that in a coming devotion. So talk with your parents about this. It's kind of a sad point in the gospel story, kind of what we're getting into about the betrayal of Jesus and ultimately his death on the cross is a sad part of the story. But it won't end sad. But it is a sad part of the story. So talk through that with your parents, of how you think through Jesus being betrayed to ultimately be killed, and how that is a hard thing, and how Jesus, even though he's fully God, he has emotions just like you do, just like I do. So have a fantastic week, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.